Dudes Who Bet Sports, Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Haldeman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Sports. Papa Dude, we are back. It is my favorite weekend of the year for racing. It is Travers Stakes weekend. Plus, we're going to preview the NFL. This is an awesome show. This is a jam-packed show today.
These are the ones that are so much fun, right?
Yes.
We're not sweating horse racing out too much, and we can kind of speculate on the upcoming season, which is just around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm ready.
It's going to be a good show, and we're going to have a lot going on. I just recorded my video preview for the Travers, so I'm extra excited. The Travers full card came out about an hour and a half to go. So yeah, Michael stole the words right out of my mouth. So I'm pumped because right after this show, going to do some studying. Then we're going to do blinkers off late tonight as well because Jared and I are flying to Saratoga tomorrow. So we'll do blinkers off a little bit later. So if you're tuning in right now, we will have blinkers off. So we'll have two shows today coming up. But let's do us, Papa Dude. We've had fun at the Saratoga meet. This will probably be the last time we do Saratoga because it's full football next year. Next week, I should say. So, all right, let's get to it. I'm going to pull up on the screen now. Let's talk about the Travers. Look, first of all, field of 7 here for the Travers. Going to be race 12 at Saratoga, obviously. Tell me, Papa Dude, are you surprised that we only got 7 horses?
I'm shocked that we only have 7, and I'm not too crazy about the field. I mean, I think it's a kind of blase type of Travers, but it's been that way all year, hasn't it? It's kind of fitting for this group of 3-year-olds that we only have 7 in this race.
Yeah, it is. And now the good news is you've got the 3 Triple Crown winners. And you got Forte in the field. So
absolutely.
It's short, but it's probably the ones you want to see. Yes. Would you say that?
Yeah, I guess when you look at it that way, it's not disappointing. I guess that's a very good way to look at it because you got the 3 Triple Crown winners, and you got one who probably would have won one of those races had he could have, had been healthy enough. So, yeah, I guess when you look at it that way, there's just not a lot. You know what though? When you get past these 4, who else would you want in there? I mean, can you think of somebody that's missing that?
I think an extra Anejo would be one that people would think about. Go Rocket Ride is certainly one people would think it would want in this race. Maybe Arabian Night. I don't know. I mean, there are a few that you'd like, but I think anytime you see a shorter field, people do kind of tend to be like, "Ew, this isn't that great," but it is who you want in it. And I think if Go Rocket Ride, if you add him in there, it's the elite of the elite, right?
Yeah, I forgot about him. That one should be in there.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why they're not. And we don't know what it is, but there's a reason why they're not in here. And let's just kind of go with these and see what happens. It's going to be a good race, I think.
I think it's going to be a really competitive race. All right, let's just go through them 1 through 7. I'll just go through each one, and then we'll give our picks at the end here.
Okay.
Number 1, Forte. Obviously, they're going to be the favorite at 7-5. Is it too short of a price, or does he kind of earned that right to be a 7-5 favorite in this one?
For me, yes, but I've been on him all year. For others, probably not. I would like to see him have a race where there's no problems, where he doesn't get in trouble, where things go his way. The last 2 races he's won, he's had all kinds of difficulty. So, he's due for a nice, good, easy trip and no problems. So, no, I think he should be the favorite at 7-5.
What do you think about just overall? I mean, don't give me a pick yet. We'll save that for the end. But just overall, I mean, first glance at this, I think he's the one. I think he's going to be really tough in here.
Yeah. I do too.
All right, let's talk about number 2, Arcangelo, next, because I think he's the kind of the wild card of the whole thing. Won the Belmont Stakes, obviously, last time out, but we haven't seen the horse since that race. So no races between the Belmont and the Travers. That's 77 days between races. It's a horse that's lightly raced anyway. What do you think? The trainer, Gianna Tanucci, said, hey, this is no big deal. He's going to love this layoff. I am skeptical. What about you of the layoff?
Well, I mean, you hit it on the nail, hit the nail on the head. This is the wild card. This is the one we don't know a lot about the trainer. It was a great story in the Belmont. I tell you, the way she reacted was fantastic. The horse ran great, but now it's cutting back, and it's hard to pick the horse. I'm a little surprised the horse is 5-2. That's one I think surprises me more than Forte being 7-5.
It seems like Javier Castellano has chosen Arcangelo over Mage, and I think that may be why you're seeing that 5-2. Plus, it's a Belmont winner, and this horse is hyped to the moon, and I get it. I mean, it looks pretty good. Wild card to me. I just think it's going to be tough to win the Travers off that kind of layoff. Let's go number 3, Tapit Trice. Folks, if you haven't heard it already, you're going to hear it ad nauseum all week long until they go out of the gate. The blinkers are on Tapit Trice, and all of a sudden, everybody is saying this is a wonder horse, a Pegasus of sorts, a horse that sprouts wings down the stretch now that the blinkers have been added. I've been told by sources there's no way he's losing this race. Unfortunately, I've heard all of this before. He always works tremendous. He's always, out of all of them, he's the best one working right now. Blinkers, will that be the key to Tapit Trice, or you still want no part of him?
Well, I don't know how many times I see on here when somebody says they put blinkers on, they go, oh, I don't think that's a good thing. So
I've heard that a lot.
That's all the shit I ever hear from a lot of these.
I heard people saying that about Forte last time out.
I don't get it. Why are they putting blinkers on him? That's an issue. Blah, 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 blah. Now, suddenly this is going to make a 12-1 horse that's never done shit suddenly win? I don't think so. So, no, I'm not one that says this is a wonder horse. I've never seen the horse do anything.
I have heard so many people connected with the barn. I mean, people that are in the know, people that might handle this horse saying he is a monster right now. But I have heard this for months. I think Tapit Trice is one of the more talented horses out there, but he's got to go out and do it on the track. Todd Pletcher is a great trainer. They just cannot get it out of him for whatever reason. And maybe the blinkers are the wonder thing. I also got to pause and say, okay, if you really thought these blinkers were going to make a difference with this horse, why did you not try them a little bit earlier, right? And it's not like these guys are idiots that are training this horse. No. So I'm still very skeptical that Tapit Trice is going to show up and sprout wings on Saturday.
I'm a results guy, and I haven't seen the results. Hasn't run bad in the last 3 races. Not awful, but awful to his expectations, shall we say?
Yes.
7th in the Derby, 3rd in the Belmont, 5th in the Haskell. I don't know that blinkers are going to make that much of a difference. I don't.
And Michael, I have too, and it is one of those things. I did the preview, Michael. I didn't mean to take your comment off there. I did the preview, and I said, I've heard steam on him, but I've never heard steam to this magnitude. He always gets steam, right? And I bypassed it. Belmont, I'm like, I'm not listening to this. Haskell, I was hearing it. I was like, I'm not touching him. I did put him in 4th in this race. And I just think, I'll be honest, I haven't structured the pick 5s yet, but if I could go 4 deep, I might throw him on the ticket here. Because it's like, if there's short place or short races elsewhere, then maybe you just throw him on. I don't know, but I can't support him as a win. I just can't. All right, let's go to number 4, Mage, the Kentucky Derby winner. He's super consistent. I mean, he didn't run great in the Preakness. He still gets 3rd. I thought he ran really good in the Haskell, got 2nd. What do you think of number 4, Mage here?
He's scary to me. I think you got to consider him. He's been really, really good in every race he's run. So, since the Derby or after the Derby, he's been really good. So, yeah, I think he's pretty good. So I think you got to consider him.
Yeah, Rain Crawford saying that Castleton was off Mage, and I think that's the worst sign for sure on him.
Yeah,
The replacement's pretty good, Luis Saez.
not bad.
To me, Mage, you get him and you use him in second.
I don't think if you're playing exotics, whatever, you want to leave him off and let him beat you. That's
yeah. I think out of all the field, you can count on him to run his race. Is it good enough? I'm skeptical, but I think you can count on him to run a really good race. I'm with you. I'm not going to leave him off. And look, his biggest win was the Kentucky Derby. Obviously,
right.
It was at 1.25 miles. This distance is 1.25 miles.
Yeah.
And if Go Rocket Ride doesn't run an exceptional race, Mage is coming off a Haskell win where he beat Arabian Night by 2 lengths. So
that's right. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I just think he's going to show up. I will have him underneath for sure in this one. All right, number 5 is National Treasure, winner of the Preakness Stakes. Ran in the Belmont, did not run very good. Here he comes here. What do you think? Number 5, National Treasure.
I don't see any speed in this race except him.
I think it's him or the 7.
Yeah, 5 and the 7's the only speed I see.
Yep.
I don't think the 7, we don't know how good that horse is. Hadn't done anything. Hadn't been any big races.
Mm-hmm.
I think these two have got to go. Let's say the 7 doesn't. The 5 gets out. Can't catch him. It's quite possible.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have much speed in a race and you got one that's fast and can run, and he won the Preakness, this is when you got to look at. I don't think you can leave this one off either. I'm not real high on him, but he may get out there and be tough to catch.
I'm leaving him off. So if he
beats me, okay.
Yeah, if he beats me, he beats me. I think the 5 and 7 are going to knock heads a little bit here.
They might.
Because the deal is, I think the 7 is just naturally, I think he is the fastest. And I think the 5, I think the best way that he wins is he does exactly what he tried to do or what he did in the Preakness and go out there. And I think the 5 and 7 kind of soften each other up. I got to stick with my guns that I don't think National Treasure is a very good horse. And that's just how I got to leave it. I don't think he's awful. I don't think he's good enough to beat these horses today. Or in this race. So that's my situation there. All right. Number 6, Disarm, your boy, Steve Asmussen, another one with the blinkers on. Asmussen said, he was quoted as saying, look, I think there's more to him. I don't think we've got the best race out of him yet. That's probably a good thing because what he is like almost like a Looking at Lee type where he's good. He's a little bit better than Red Route 1 type where he doesn't, you kind of think maybe he's got a shot at times. He just hasn't taken that last step to be like really, really good in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Disarm?
So he's putting the blinkers on, but we're not all over him because he's
right.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense too.
Well, to me, the difference is anybody that like watches a horse move over the track, whether it be a workout guy or guys like myself that like can pick certain things up about a horse and be like, whoa, he just did something that you don't really see much. Tapatrice has all that, where Disarm he's just kind of a plotter, right? So
he's good.
He's good.
He's on the JV, and that's pretty much he's going to run. He'll run his race. We know that. Mm-hmm. And he's just one of these horses I kind of call they just fill out the field. I think Asmussen said, well, heck, there's only 7 horses. It's going to be a short field. What the heck? Something could happen. We can win this thing. And so it would shock me if he wins, to be honest.
Yeah, I just can't see him turning the tables on Forte. That's for sure. All right, last one is number 7, Scotland. I think this is going to be a wise guy horse without any doubt. I definitely think Scotland's going to be a wise guy horse because you're going to look at it and go, I think he can take him gate to wire. The Curlin horse is always a little bit of a wise guy's horse as well. Look at last year. Chad Brown started that horse. I can't even remember his name, but he was no good. Listen, Il Miracola came back and won at Parks in a stakes race. So another thing to kind of boost this horse. I just don't think he's good enough. That's where I'm at. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you if you want to use him and say he's going to go gate to wire. I think he's got a shot to take him gate to wire because he is going to have the lead. I just think when they turn for home, these better horses are going to come get him. So that's my thought on the 7 Scotland. What's yours?
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm going to say. He's just not ran in the quality of race that these others have. Mm-hmm. So how good is he? We don't know. That's the deal. He's the unknown. If you want to take a shot on him, that means you don't really like some of these others. And as you say, you want to be a wise guy and say at the end of the day, I told you that horse was going to win.
Yeah, I look at it like this. I think Saudi Crown would destroy Scotland. Like, I think he's a better horse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He couldn't get it done with a perfect setup because Forte was just a little bit better.
Yeah. And it's not only Forte in the race. There's some others that I think are better than this one.
I agree. So if it didn't work for Saudi Crown, I think Saudi Crown's a better horse than Scotland. So,
well, I do too. So I just don't think this horse is seasoned enough. I just think there's something to be said for horses that have been in grade 1s and grade 2s. And they're, we've seen what they've done against quote unquote really good horses. This one might be an up and coming star, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I'm not either. Maybe he gets it done and we look dumb and it wouldn't be the first time.
No,
but
this is one, if they beat us, we just go, everything I know about horse racing told me not to take that horse.
Kind of agree. Yeah. I kind of agree with that. I do. All right. So let's hear it. Who you picking for the Travers?
You know who I'm picking. You didn't even have to ask me.
Yeah.
My horse all year long has been Forte. And like I said, when we were going through these, I would love to see him get a trip where it works out for him.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody says, well, he shouldn't have won that other one. He bumped that horse and everything. Well, let me tell you, he got bumped too. He may have done the bumping, but he still got bumped and he still won.
Mm-hmm.
I love that in a horse. This horse has got guts. And until I see him just get beat by one of these when everything's going good and he seems to be in great form, I'm going to stay on him. I like him a lot, but I'm scared of Mage. I really am. I think Mage and the two are the ones to be really scared of. So I think it's going to be a hell of a race. I really do.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you're saying with the Forte situation. Yeah, it was totally his fault. Maybe he should have been, taken. I probably should have been taken.
I agree.
But okay, it's not the horse's fault, right? The jockey did it all. So you look at it and go, you're right. He got bumped too. I mean, anytime horses bump together, it throws them both off.
Yeah, he could have quit.
He could have. And watching live, I thought he was going to quit, honestly, at the top of the stretch.
That horse is not going to quit.
No, but he's not. And that he showed it time and time again. You look at this, I think the field gets a little more spread out, and I don't think he's going to have to just be like bullish and bull his way out, but you never know about that. But I went back and watched the Belmont. He never quit in that race.
No.
And I don't think he ever saw Arcangelo, or I think he would have went over there and tried to beat him. I really do. You go back and watch that again. It's like, gosh, he was coming, man. He was not quitting. And Arcangelo got a perfect trip, and all credit to him still, by the way. This is not an Arcangelo hate fest. I think he's good, and I'm scared to death of him. But, well, I'm not that scared of him because I'm going to play him on my tickets. But so if he wins, that's great. But I just watched that and thought, you know what? I think Forte is better than he is. I really do. However, Arcangelo has reasons to improve. He's very lightly raced, and maybe he improves even more here and pops a big one and wins. But I'm not going against Forte. I think he's gutty. I think if you get in a fight, who's going to win. It's Forte. I think he gets him. So I'm going to go Forte on top. Wow, that is a bad beat if you had the 5 there at Gulfstream, or at Saratoga. But anyway, I'm going to go Forte on top. I think he gets it done. I like Mage in like the second spot. I just feel like he's going to show up and run his race. I got Arcangelo third.
That's about the way I see it. Thing about Forte, you're going to have to beat him. You're going to have to go beat him. This horse has shown he's going to fight till the very end. So you better be pretty tough if you're going to beat him.
You have to be tough. You do. And it's kind of a weird thing to say. This isn't a boxing match or anything like that. And, but you got to be a tough horse to beat him because he will make you beat him.
Yeah.
And ask Mage. Mage probably, if horses think like, hey, I'm going to win mid-stretch, Mage had to be thinking this race is over. There's nobody. And
no
it should have
question.
been over. And Forte got in the clear. He saw him. He went and got him.
He went and got him. And I love a horse like that.
Yeah.
That's the day I fell in love with the horse because no way he should have won that race. There's no way he should.
You were very bullish that he was going to win the Kentucky Derby after that. And
the Kentucky Derby, and I was.
Yeah.
He was my pick, and when he scratched, I fell apart.
Yeah.
Trying to have a backup. But the Kentucky Derby's different. There's so many obstacles in your way there that had he not won, I wouldn't have been shocked.
Right.
Because Kentucky Derby,
But that you were out of all of us, you were heartbroken by the scratch because you saw the race as this is easy, guys. He's the best. And when he scratched, you were in big trouble. So
I didn't have a backup.
Well, to be fair, I had Tapit Trice, so it doesn't really matter. I wish he would have scratched. There's no way my backup could have been worse. So
I can't remember who I took. Who was I? Was
Angel of Empire.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Which is who I probably would have fell to if Tapit Trice would have scratched. So. Yeah, and he ran well.
Yeah.
Just not well enough.
Yeah.
Michael says, can we do the undercard races? Yeah, we're going to do those on blinkers off. So that'll be a blinkers off. You got to understand the card came out about an hour ago. So
haven't had time to hit that one, Michael.
No, went right to the Travers to prepare for this show. And then we'll do undercard on blinkers off. Because once we get off here, we'll have 2-3 hours before that one starts and we can actually handicap it and figure out all of that. So any overarching thoughts on the day? Have you looked at anything else or just the Travers?
I have not had time to get into it at all. I will because I've got to get my picks into Jared for the Bible. So I will. That's what I plan to do this evening. Just like you do.
Yep. Betting Bible will come out probably Thursday late at night would be my guess, or maybe early Saturday morning. What we're doing today is getting all the shows out of the way. And then we are traveling tomorrow, but that's no big deal as far as putting together the betting Bible, because what do you do on plane rides? Well, you handicap horse racing, right? And that's what we'll be doing.
It's a lot easier, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah, you got a lot of quiet time to put that together. You're just you and your computer there on the planes and the airports. So it'll be done. A lot of time to do that tomorrow. That'll be putting that all together. The team will put the picks all together on there on Thursday night, and then we'll get it out to you Friday. So if you're looking for that, that's kind of the schedule there. I haven't looked at much else. I think it's going to be really interesting. I don't think this is the best Travers I've ever been to. I'm not going to lie, but I think it's going to be fascinating what happens here.
Well, I think you're going to see a great race. I think it'll be a really good race.
Yep. I agree.
And we're looking for a star to emerge.
Mm-hmm.
Forte wins this. We've got a star going into the Breeders' Cup.
Well, let's play that game real quick. If Forte wins, yes, I think he fits that bill. If Arcangelo wins, I think he fits that bill.
Yeah.
Does he not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Tapit Trice, no. He's going to have, even if he wins, he's got to do more to be trusted. Mage, Kentucky Derby / Travers winner, I think he's there too.
Definitely.
National Treasure, as much as I don't really like him, Preakness / Travers winner, he's a star, right?
He would be in there. Yeah, you have to.
So if one of the Triple Crown race winners or Forte win, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. They go
all right. Anything else? What were we going to say? I
said they go to the front of the list if one of the Triple Crown winners wins or Forte.
I agree. I think they're number one. Well, with Go Rocket Ride may face Olders and the Pacific Classic. If he was to do that, then he throws his name in there as well if he wins, I'm saying. So, but for now, you're right, though. Absolutely. Yep. Gonna be fun. Gonna be a heck of a lot of fun. Let's see. See if I have any other horse racing stuff before we move on. I don't think we do. I think we're good. Gonna be fun. If you're gonna be there, we will be there as well. So make sure to check out. We being Jared and I. So make sure to check us out. I know we saw a lot of people on the Whitney and a few at Jim Dandy. It was great seeing everybody. By the way, we always have fun meeting up with the fans. And like I say, if you're gonna be there, let us know. We'll be around for sure. So, all right, let's do NFL. You want to do NFL?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to put the win totals up now. We're going to preview the NFL season. So this is what we're going to do. We will preview the NFL this week, and then next week will be college football the official start, week 1.
Right.
So the show will go back basically to football for the foreseeable future. We'll talk horse racing some for the big
Sure.
races. I'm sure we'll recap the Travers, stuff like that. But for the most part, back to football. I can't believe it's almost already here. I mean, this is nuts.
It snuck up on me.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like it should be here. But all right, let's do NFL over unders. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start?
Well, I've got them by conference.
Okay, let's do that.
Like AFC East is
Okay.
what I've got first.
Okay.
So, but I mean, I can do the other two, but I think it'll be easier to go through it that way.
Okay, let's just start AFC East.
By the way, I think we're not thinking football because it's so hot here in the Midwest. It is unbearable. I
So,
don't know if you've noticed, but all the Friday night football games have been pushed back till 8 o'clock starts because of the weather. Yeah, it's just unbearable.
So 121 degrees on what day was that? Monday or Tuesday? I can't remember. It felt like 121 out.
Yeah, it wasn't actually 121, but that was the heat index.
The heat index was 121. So you go outside, it felt like 121.
And it's been this way all week.
All week long. I do think relief is coming.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Now, the good news is if you're going to Saratoga, I think like 75 is the highest it's going to be for those 4 days. It's going to be nuts. But
I don't know what that would feel like. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just can't bear to go outside right now and do anything. It's just awful. It really is.
It's
and these high school football teams that normally practice after school are coming in before school and practicing from like 6 to 8 before the heat, because in the state of Missouri anyway, you can't, if the heat index is 100, you can't go outside and practice. You can't.
No.
It's state law. So they're either practicing from 6 to 8 in the morning or 6:30 to 8:30 at night right now.
You literally walk outside right now, and like if I and this is not a lie, I went to the mailbox, right? House to the mailbox, and you were sweating when you got back because it's just the humidity is crazy. And Ellis Park has canceled for tomorrow, and Belterra is also canceled for tomorrow, by the way. So
it's awful. And I walk at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm. And
it was 84 degrees at 8 o'clock this morning. And when I got done, I was wringing wet. I was just, it was terrible. And a lot of the walks in the shade, so it's bad.
Yeah, my dog likes to walk around 7, and it's same thing. It's like 80 degrees when you go out.
You're just drenched when you get done.
It's crazy. So. All right. Speaking of hot, warm weather, the Miami Dolphins will be who we'll talk about first. How about
okay?
The Dolphins down in Florida, they know about humidity down there. All right, the Dolphins, can Tua stay healthy? I think that's a little bit of a question mark. Can they kind of live up to I don't know if they're hyped up this year. They kind of were last year. Their over-under sits at 9.5. What do you think of the Dolphins?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's his health.
Yeah,
they've got a good enough team to do pretty well, but we don't know. When you analyze these NFL teams, it's so interesting to see what their non-conference schedules are. And the AFC East will play everybody from the AFC West in the non-conference and everybody from the NFC East, which in my opinion is two of the tougher conferences in football. So that means they're going to have to play the Chiefs, the Chargers, Dallas, the Eagles, the Giants. Those are good teams. So, and then now there are then they have 3 other teams that they draw non-conference. They got a little bit of a break there because they got Carolina, Tennessee, and they have to go to Baltimore. So those are not as tough as these others I mentioned. So the bottom line is, how are they going to do in their own conference? And by the way, their own conference is good too. Yeah, Buffalo, New England, and the Jets, who are supposed to be very much improved. So they got a tough schedule. It's a tough schedule for them. They got the Chiefs at home. They got to go to the Chargers. They got to go to Philly, and they got to go to Baltimore. Those are very tough games. I don't see them winning any of those. So over under 9.5. I got them at 10. So I'm going to go over. But
I'm with you. Go ahead.
Now, I don't know, though, because so much of this depends on Tua's health. Can he stay healthy? I don't know. So I probably will stay away from totally betting this because there's too many unknowns for Miami. That plus the schedule's so tough.
I'm with you. I'm not going to bet it. I would take them over, but it's not strong for me. I'm with you. I think they're going to be good again, but I'm not confident they're going to be that good. But listen, I think it's a playoff team for sure. But
if he stays healthy.
I'm just barely over that number. Yeah, I agree. And if he doesn't, I don't know what's going to happen. They
feel good about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. All right, let's go on. Buffalo Bills. This is a team I absolutely loved fading the end of last year. I thought they were awful. For awful in comparison to what everybody thought they were, is what I should say. Their over-under is pretty low, really, for this team. 10.5 for the Bills. What do you think about Buffalo this year?
Well, again, it all depends on how good you think they are.
Yeah.
They have a very difficult schedule. They got to go to Philly. They got to go to Cincinnati. They got to go to Kansas City. All three of those games are on the road. And that's three of the best teams or two of the best teams in the AFC and one of the best teams in the NFC. And they drew every single one of them on the road. That's tough. Their own division is tough. From the non-conference, besides the AFC West and the NFC East, they drew Jacksonville. That's at home. Tampa Bay's at home. And then Cincinnati's one of those. So I think they're pretty good. I think I don't know if they can get to where they want to get, which is a Super Bowl. Anytime you're in the AFC, you got a real issue because you're going to have to beat the Chiefs. I don't think they're good enough. Over under 10.5. I got them at 12, so I'm going to go over.
I went 11, so I've got them over. But again, kind of just like the Dolphins, I'm not overly excited about them. So that's the easiest way I can say it. All right, let's go to the Patriots next. Always a team that's interesting. That I feel like their roster is a little bit better. They're down here real low, 7.5. What do you think about the Patriots this year?
Well, I always overrate them.
I do too.
Because of Belichick. They made a subtle change at offensive coordinator that a lot of people are mentioning. They got Bill O'Brien, who had been there before, to come back as the offensive coordinator, and he's a great offensive mind, and they're thinking that's going to help their young quarterback, who didn't quite mesh with what they had last year. And he did kind of go down a little bit last year, which caused them to go down a little bit. He's the key. How well is he going to play? At times, he looked just like Tom Brady as far as looks and the way I would look out there on the field and I said, my God, that's another Tom Brady. Not the way he played, just the way he looked. I think this kid's pretty good. And I think, they got a chance to be okay. They drew New Orleans, Indianapolis, and at Pittsburgh as their three other non-conference games. Those are all winnable.
Yeah, that's
which
good.
To me really helps them. The key to them is going to be how can they play it in their own conference? And they split. Can they go 3-3 in their conference? I always overrate them. I got them at 10, so I'm going way over on this.
I don't have them quite at 10, but I think they're going over 7.5.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. They'll be better than what you think.
To me, I like them better than the Dolphins, but I'll admit it. I'm a Patriot. I've always liked the Patriots, and I don't care who doesn't. I don't care. They call them cheaters. I don't really care. I call them winners, and I've always overrated them, so I wouldn't go by too much what I say on the Patriots.
Well, I think the thing I could say about it is, I think they can get over that 7.5 total.
Yeah.
Do I think they're a great team? No. Do I think they get over 7.5? I do. I absolutely do. So,
well, if they don't, Bill Belichick's going to have a losing season.
Yep.
I think that would be 2 in a row. I don't see that happening.
I don't either. New York Jets. Let's talk about them. A lot of hype coming in here. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, quarterback now for the Jets. A lot of pieces. Dalvin Cook's there as well. 9.5 seems like a reasonable number. This Jets team was really good last year on defense. And if you add, Aaron Rodgers to the team last year, they're probably a playoff team. What about this year? What do you think?
You got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Rodgers has left. He's pretty old. He's being the little poster boy up there, saying all the right things.
Have you noticed his behavior
Oh
is
yeah,
way different now?
he's a
Yeah.
little golden boy right now. He's as fake as they come.
Right.
I can't stand him. Therefore, I'm going under because I don't want him to go over. I don't think they're that good myself. I'll be surprised if they contend. That division is tough. It's stable. The division is for the most part. Let's say he gets off to a rather slow start. What's going to happen? They faded last year, if I recall. Let me look real quick here before I start seeing.
They went 7-10. They down the stretch. They did.
They went 7-10, and they lost their last 6 games.
Yeah.
So you're going to pick a team that lost the last 6 games to go over 9.5 just because they got a 39-year-old quarterback who might not have a whole lot left. I'm not doing it. I can't pick a team that lost their last 6. Dalvin Cook, yeah, he's really good, but running backs aren't a big deal like they used to be in the NFL.
Well,
I think they could be a surprise. I do. But
let's look at their first 6 games.
Okay. I got
Buffalo,
it. Right,
they have Buffalo in New York. That's, a toss up at best, I think.
I think Buffalo beats them.
They go to Dallas.
That's going to be tough.
You never know what Dallas is, but
and they're coming off a Buffalo game that they're going to be sky high for. What if they get beat?
Exactly. So
they got to go all the way to Dallas. I don't know.
If you split it, that's good. I think.
Yeah.
New England at home. That's game
they got to win that game if they're good.
And
right?
then Kansas City comes to New York.
They ain't beating Mahomes in New York.
You wouldn't think.
No.
Then they go to Denver. Not an easy place to go win.
Denver's going to be better. I guarantee you.
They should be better for sure.
Yeah.
And then they host Philadelphia. That's a tough 6 games. Yeah.
And then you look. Then they have a bye, and look who they got next. They got to go to the Giants. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
And guess what? The Chargers, they ain't bad. You never know what they're going to do.
Right.
That's a tough first 8 games. What if they get off to a 2-6 start? That is going to implode.
Yeah.
Then Aaron's going to become Aaron again.
I'm going to go under.
There's no brainer for me, and if they beat me, I don't care.
All right, let's go to the AFC North. Let's go Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, obviously, look, this was a team that really wasn't. Their roster was laughable a lot of times last year. They still were able to pull it together somewhat. They were. A lot of people thought they were going to be embarrassing, and they weren't. End of the day, they weren't the Steelers of old. There's no doubt about it. What do you think? Their total sitting there at 8.5. They went 9-8 last year. What do you think about them this year?
Well, I'm not a Steelers fan and never was, but I'll tell you something I love about the Steelers. They don't panic.
No.
They don't fire their coach. They don't blame the coaching staff.
No.
They realize that it's ups and downs in the NFL. And when you're like them and you're never terrible, you don't get a good draft spot.
Yep.
And they piece it together. I distinctly remember last year when we did this show, we both said this might be one of the worst teams in the NFL.
We did. Yes.
Yep. And they were in the playoff hunt till the last week.
Yep.
And that's just a sign of great stability in the program. They don't panic. They just kind of go along. Mike Tomlin, he's as steady as they come.
Yep.
I thought what they did last year was unbelievable.
Yep.
Kenny Pickett played well. You got to think he's going to improve. They have the NFC West. They have to play everybody in the NFC West. That's the Rams, the Niners, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. That's tough. 3 of those teams are really good. But then they drew the AFC South. That's not very good. That's Tennessee, Houston, Jacksonville, and who's the other one? I can't think. But anyway,
Jacksonville might be better, but
that's the best team. Oh, Indianapolis is the other one.
Indianapolis, yeah.
Yeah. So it comes down to, can they play well in their own division? And that's, the Central or the North, the AFC is decent. Mm-hmm. 8.5 is right where I've got them. I've got them at 8. So I've got to go under, but I'm staying away from this one.
I'm going over. I think they're over that.
They could.
I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be a good team this year. I think they're going to be better than they were last year, and I think the schedule's decent. So I'm going over.
You-
All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
This AFC North, it's a little bit crazy, no doubt
It
about it.
is.
Every year, Baltimore Ravens new offensive coordinator, and he is a horse racing fan, and so that's good. So
Good.
we got to root for Baltimore now. At 10.5, the over under 9.5 at some books here for Baltimore. What do you think of the Ravens?
I like them. The whole key to them is, can they keep Lamar Jackson healthy? They're pretty good when he's healthy. They're tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. I still think they're right there. They can, they can go either way. You look at their schedule. They got their tough game, their conference games on the road. Some, half of them.
Yeah.
Got to go to Jacksonville. They got to go to San Francisco. They drew 3. This is really interesting to me. Their other 3 non-conference games, Detroit, Miami, and the Chargers, are all in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that 3 times thinking that's got to be a misprint. So that's odd.
Mm-hmm.
So those teams are pretty good, but you got them all at home.
Yeah.
If one was on the road. Anyway, what do they got? 10.5?
Yep.
I'm going over. I got them at 12.
I've got them at 10. So it depends. They're 9.5 some places, 10.5 other places. I've got them at 10. So if I could get them at 9.5, which it looks like there's a couple books that are offering that, I'd go for it.
Yeah.
10.5, I don't know. I get a little bit leery. I'm not a huge Lamar guy, so we'll see. All right, this is the interesting team every year. The Cleveland Browns were to that moment. Cleveland Browns over under sitting here at 9.5. They're going to have Deshaun Watson for the whole season. I mean, as long as he stays healthy and doesn't get arrested.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Browns? The Browns are just a running joke on our show for the last 3 years. It's just every time we get to them, it's like, oh God, here come the Browns. So what do you think?
Well, they got a great running back.
Yep.
If Watson plays good, they got a chance.
Yep.
Myles Garrett on defense, very good. They got good players scattered around, but they've had good players scattered around for quite some
years.
time now.
Yep.
Tough division. I've got them at 8, so I'm going under.
I went under as well. I think they're capable of winning 10 games, but guys, I followed this Browns team when they drafted Mayfield. I watched every game, and I stuck with it last year just to kind of see, because there's a lot of players I got kind of connected to. They invent ways to lose games, period. Even last year, even when Brissett was a quarterback, there were games that they could have won. They invent ways to lose games. If you don't believe me, follow them for a season. You'll text your buddy after like 8 games and go, I can't believe how they lose games. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. So I'm going to go under.
I'll tell you a funny story. Go. Are you done?
Well, I was going to say, lovable fans, lovable franchise. They're like the lovable losers. I enjoy their fans a ton. I think they've got a great fan base. I don't know. I just can't buy into it. Okay, go ahead.
I'll tell you a funny story. I was down in Florida on vacation, and I met this guy who's a huge Steelers fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we were talking, and he knew I was an OU fan. And he goes, when they drafted Baker Mayfield, when the Browns did, I just said to myself, whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to shake up the computer there. But he said, I just told myself, well, they just ruined another guy's career, because he said that's what the Browns do. He said, if you're a Steelers fan, you hate the Browns.
Yep.
But you don't worry about it. You're going to beat them. So anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell, really.
Let me just say this: Baker Mayfield was not good the last year for sure for Cleveland, and a lot of it had to do with it was his own fault. He tried to play hurt, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
You don't do that. But here's the deal: he embraced Cleveland.
He did. Yeah.
Whether he was excited to be there or not, he sold that he was excited.
I think he loved it there at first. I do.
Oh, and whether you love or hate Baker, he rallied the city. There's no doubt. And if you follow him, he rallied them. They were excited. I'm not saying they should have kept him. I'm saying they should have treated him a little bit better on his way out. He finally was a quarterback that actually cared about Cleveland and actually wanted to be there. and you didn't even tell him. And then you go get this guy who could not have been a worse character to go get at the time. You give him all his guaranteed money, and then Baker finds out about it in the media. And it's just like, that's why it is. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. All right. Cincinnati's next, 11.5. I love the Bengals. You always overrate the Patriots. You said, this is my team. I really like the Bengals. I have got them overrated. Probably.
Oh, I don't think I overrate them. They've been pretty good the last 2 years. And anybody's got Joe Burrow's got a chance to win every time you take the field. They got other players around them. That's pretty good. Their receivers are really good. Their defense is underrated. They know how to win. I got them at 13 wins, so I'm going over.
I'm going over as well. I love Cincinnati. I love this team. And it's mostly I love Joe Burrow. I think he's fantastic. And they've got great weapons around him. They've given him help. And I think that's a big key to any quarterback. I don't care how good you are. The weapons help a ton. So I like Cincinnati. I'm going to go over the 11.5. Big fan of Burrow. All right, let's go. We got to pick it up here. We're AFC South. Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, kind of the darlings. They were able to turn it around last year. We knew they had the talent. They got the coaching staff going last year. What do you think about the Jags? 9.5, the total here.
Well, I think they're going to be pretty good, and what they did last year was very impressive, and they should continue to develop. Trevor Lawrence should continue to be a great quarterback or become a great quarterback. He's got everything it takes. I don't know if you looked at their schedules. They're very quirky. They play back-to-back games in London.
Yeah, I know.
What the hell is that all about?
I don't know. I saw that and thought, well, they don't care about them, I guess. But
wait, back-to-back. So they're going to spend 2 weeks in England.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But anyway, I like them. I think they're pretty good. When you finish first, you inherit the other 3 first-place teams in your league.
Yeah.
So they've got to play Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati.
Yeah, not easy.
No, but they've got 2 of them at home, and they play Buffalo in London. So that helps with them. I still don't think they're going to win any of those. But anyhow, 9.5. I've got them at 10, so I'd have to go over.
Yeah, I went over on them as well. I'm not 100% sold on them, but I think that number is good enough, so I would go over.
Well, playing in the division they play into.
That's the other thing, because we'll go through the division here, and we'll go to the Houston Texans next. I don't know where this franchise is at. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be any better or not. It doesn't really feel like it. Houston at 6.5. Last year they won 3. Can they improve 4 games?
Wow.
I don't think so.
They did get what's his name, Stroud, didn't they?
Yeah, but
so they'll have a quarterback, but he's a rookie.
He has not looked good so far. I know it's preseason; it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, 6.5 for a team that won 3. I got him at 5, and I thought I was being good to give him 5. So
I don't see it.
This might be my best bet right here. Houston under 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going under as well. I don't like them at all. A team that maybe I overrated them, or maybe they just underachieve. Last year was just a disaster. The Indianapolis Colts, who will move to next. 4 wins last year. They were just a disaster. They're at 6.5. Do they make any kind of progression this season?
I don't think so. They signed, they think this Anthony Richardson dude from Florida is the answer to their problems, and maybe he is. But when you look at his stats in college, they're not very good. They drafted him because he's huge. He's 6'4", and he weighs 232. That doesn't mean you're a good quarterback. And I never understood that one. I just never did.
His measurables graded out better than anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That doesn't always mean anything. So he may develop into a superstar. I don't know, but it's going to take a while. The other quarterback is Gardner Minshew. So 6.5, no, I'm going under.
I'm under with them as well. I don't think they're going to be very good. I'll believe it when I see it with Richardson. I'm the same way with you. People were like, oh, this Rich, he is a stud. And I'm like, God, did I watch this guy? Did he not play last year for Florida? And so I look at the Florida, I'm like, no, yeah, that was him that I was watching all year that couldn't do anything. So
what they win? 7 games? 8?
I don't even think, I thought they were 6-6. Maybe they won.
I think they had a winning record, but
yeah. they weren't good, and offensively was a lot of their problem. So you tell me. All right, let's go. Let's keep going here. Tennessee Titans, the last one. I think this is a team we're always a little bit higher on than other people, but this is kind of looks like a little bit of a disaster. I don't think they're that great. 7.5. They won 7 last year. What do you think about the Titans?
I probably got them. Well, they got them at 7.5.
7.5.
I think I love their coach. I think he's pretty good. The coach. Can they get another year out of Tannehill and Henry? And can they stay healthy? And I think if they do, playing in that division, that's going to help them. They've got the NFC South on their schedule. They're not very good either, so that helps them.
Mm-hmm.
I got them at 8, so I'm going to go over.
I went over, but I think it's barely. I don't think they're great. I mean, I think they're probably about what they were last year, plus one game, right? So I think they go over. I think they win 8 or 9. I don't think they're going to be bad, but
no,
they don't. They kind of look like a little bit of a mess.
Well, you got to remember, they got 2 games with Houston, and 2 games with Indy. If they win all 4 of those games, they only have to win 4 more. And I think they're good enough to do that. So that's where I'm at with them.
All right, let's move on. We got to go now to the AFC, the AFC West. Of course, this is always a fun division. Kansas City Chiefs own the division the last few years. Will it change? We'll find out. Las Vegas Raiders, let's start with them, 6.5. I thought that was kind of low for the Raiders, but they did go 6-11 last year. They kind of were a disaster. They do lose Derek Carr. Of course, Jimmy G is here. I don't know. 6 in one hand, half dozen the other, I think, as far as that goes. Do they underachieve again? I mean, do they or are they just a 6-win type team? You tell me.
I don't think they're very good.
I don't either.
They're a very difficult division. They drew the NFC East.
Yeah, I think
that means you got to play Dallas, Philadelphia, the Giants, and the Commanders are not bad. They got the what did I say? It's the AFC East that they got.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
So it's Buffalo, the Jets, the Patriots, Miami. And they got the NFC Central, which isn't as strong as usual, but you still got not the Central, the North. You still got Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay. I got them at 6, so I'm going under.
I'll go under as well. I don't like that team very much at all. All right, let's go to the Chiefs team that obviously you like. You have to like. My goodness, they've been fantastic. Their over-under is 11.5, so I'm going to just drop it. I'm going to go over that 11.5 for Kansas City here. We've seen them be kind of weird in the regular season, lose games they maybe shouldn't. But what do you think of the Chiefs? They should be just as good, right?
Definitely. And I'm going over. It's not even close.
Yeah.
They always get the tough teams at home.
Yeah.
They got Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Philly. Guess what? All 3 of them are in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And they do this year after year. I've got them at 15. I don't think they'll win 15 because, like you say, they'll mess up and lose 1 or 2 somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't think so, but I think 12 is an upset if they don't win 12.
I think over 11.5 a lock for the
Chiefs. Mahomes will have to get hurt if they don't.
Shit, even if he gets hurt, he'll probably play. I mean, that's the thing. All right, let's go back. Let's go Chargers next. Another one of our favorites. Chargers are 9.5, the most underachieving franchise in the history of sports, other than Cleveland. I don't know. They won 10 last year. I mean, I don't know. What are they going to do?
They're the same as they always are.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you bet over, you're going to sweat out to the last game. If you bet under, you're going to sweat out to the last game.
Yeah. If they weren't the Chargers, I would be really high on them, but you can't be.
No.
I'm going under. I have them at 9.
All right, I'll take over, and we'll just fight it out to the last game. It'll be one of the last games on Sunday, that last Sunday, and it'll be like they'll be playing. Let's see, who will they be playing? Hold on, let's see who we're gonna have to sweat out. Let me find them. Oh, they're playing Kansas City.
Well, if they got to go over, they're not going to do it. So,
well, hopefully Kansas City's and they'll have like their 4th team in there, and it'll be like 21-20, and the Chargers will have to kick a field goal to win it or something.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, finally, let's go down to Denver. Gets Sean Payton, and I think if anybody can rehabilitate the total just disaster that Russell Wilson is, it's got to be Sean Payton. If he can't do it, Russell Wilson is done. They went 5-12. This Denver Broncos, this was the biggest disaster in the NFL last year.
Yeah.
They were unwatchable.
Yeah.
They're at 8.5. Can they turn it around? What do you think of Denver?
A big turnaround. But if you look at their scores, they were this close to winning, and their defense is good.
Yes.
It's really good. And Sean Payton's a great coach, especially offensively. And they've got a little bit of talent. If he can get Wilson to play better, and I think he will. Wilson's a weird dude, and you're going to have to get inside his head, which I don't know.
Weird ain't even the.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
But he's got incentive to try to bounce back. He heard all that crap all year long.
Yeah.
He's got a coach he probably respects, I would think.
Yeah.
I would think he would. Denver almost, they could have been 9-8 last year. They could have. I've got them, but it's going to be, how the Chargers going to do. If they are the Chargers, and I think Denver's got a chance to equal them, I've got them at 9, but that's shaky. So I'd have to go over on this, but I would not touch it.
I'm going over. I think they're going to get to 9. I same logic. Defense is really good.
Yep.
They can't be worse. It just can't.
Another
can't be worse than last year.
Yeah. Another key is those 3 teams that they get non-conference. They drew the Commanders. That's in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, in Denver, and they go to Houston. They win those 3. I think they get to 9.
Yep, I agree. And they should win them. I mean,
they need to get back that home field advantage they used to have in Denver. It was almost impossible to beat them there.
Yeah, but it's gone because
they haven't been good.
Exactly. All right, let's go NFC. We got to pick up the pace here. NFC East, Dallas Cowboys is where we'll start. Cowboys sitting there at 9.5. I'm just I don't know. What about you? This is another team we just laugh at all season.
You do, because they're going to lose games they shouldn't, and they're going to do dumb things.
They should go over.
They should. I've got them at 10. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. I think they won 12 last year. Dak is just, he's an enigma. You don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So I got him at 10, so I'll go over.
I'll go over, but I'm not a fan of Dak at all.
No.
So, and I was really excited to play against this next team. The New York Giants are next on our list here. They won 10 games last year. I mean, they turned it around. Good coaching for sure. Mm-hmm. Then I see the number and it's like, 7.5. That's pretty low. I think they might win 8. But what do you think about the Giants?
Yeah, I've got them at 9. I like them. I like the quarterback a lot better than you do.
I hate
so it. I think with the coaching and everything, their schedule is doable. I'm going to go over because I got them 9 and 8.
Yeah, I have to go over, even though I don't really like them. But 7.5 is a very reasonable number.
Yeah,
so I will go over that 7.5.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be that good. I really don't. I think they were smoke and mirrors last year, to be honest with you.
You could be right.
All right, let's go to the team that lost the Super Bowl, but it's still an excellent season. And boy, they had a chance in that Super Bowl. They just couldn't finish the job. Of course, I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Can they bounce back year 2? We've seen teams that lose the Super Bowl and not have quite as good a years the next season. They won 16 last year total, including playoffs. What do you think? 11.5 for the Eagles. What do you think about the Eagles?
Well, it took me a while to get on the Eagles bandwagon last year. I just kept waiting for them to fade, and they never did. But their schedule was easy last year. They had a last place schedule. They don't have that this year. They have a first place schedule. They got to play the Chiefs in Kansas City. They got to play the Vikings. They got to go to New England. They got Buffalo on there. They got to go to Seattle. Those are tough places to go.
Yeah.
So I do think they win the division. I got them at 11, so I'm going under.
Yeah, I think the schedule towards the back half is where it really gets tough. The second part of the season. First part, I think they'll get on to a little bit of a roll. I'll go over. I'll go over. I was really impressed with what I saw Super Bowl. It's not the same team. They do have some losses, but they've added some decent pieces as well. I think they'll go over, but I think it's close for sure. Finally, a team I never, ever can figure out, the Washington Commanders. I mean, I just never know from week to week what they're going to do. They're low, 6.5. So the expectations are not there for Washington. What do you think of this team?
Very difficult division. That's one reason, I think. Thumbing here real quick. I think the quarterback problem is an issue. They got Sam Howell, second year from North Carolina. It's probably going to, and then they got Brissett as their other guys. So that's an issue. You got to be pretty good in this division. I don't think they are. 6.5, I got them at 6, so I'm going under.
Yeah, I faded them. I'm with you. I've got them at 6 as well. I never can get them right. So they're a team that'll I say, yeah, they're not gonna be very good. And then you look up, it's like, geez, they're 4-2. Like, how did they do that? So we'll see. All right, let's keep going. NFC North, Chicago Bears. The Bears. Well, they were good last year. They won 3 games. Can the Bears bounce back? They're over under 7.5. What do you think of Chicago this year?
How can you go from 3? I don't see if they've improved that much.
No.
I mean, I think they're going to be better, but I don't know. The division's not as tough as it has been.
Yeah.
I'm going to go under. I do have them at 7, and I thought I was very generous having them at 7.
All right, you're going under. I'm going to go under as well. All right, let's talk about Magic's team, the Detroit Lions. Remember, last year we were saying about 4 or 5 games in, hey, this team isn't bad. This team can do this, that. And they went 9-8. They did well. Now here's the problem. Vegas has adjusted 9.5.
Yeah.
Which means not only a winning record, but a 10-7 record is what they're going to have. What do you think of Detroit? Can they get 10 wins?
Well, they got a lot out of Jared Goff last year. Are they going to get that?
Sure did.
And, it was a really fun time watching them.
It was.
But now they got the hype.
Yes.
Can they handle the hype?
No.
I don't think so either. I'm going under. I can't. Well, you'd have to say 10. I can't say 10 for them. I got them at 9-8. I don't know if they can do that, to be honest.
There's no way I'm betting the Detroit Lions over 9.5. I'm not betting the Detroit Lions to win 10 games, period.
Okay.
All right. It was fun to watch them. I had a good time.
Yeah, they did that was a great run.
All right. Green Bay Packers without Aaron Rodgers now. We'll see what happens here. See if they can move on. Their over-under sits at 7.5. I don't think this is a very good team.
No.
What about you?
Well, what gets me is the one publication I read had them winning the division. I don't see how.
No.
They won 8 games last year with the greatest quarterback that ever lived, and he's not there anymore. And if you don't believe me, just ask him. He'll tell you he's the greatest quarterback that ever lived.
Correct.
Anyway, no, I'm with you. I don't think they're very good. They weren't any good last year.
Well, the limited time we've seen Jordan Love, he has not been.
Oh, he's been awful.
Mm-hmm. Like, not been good is a nice way of saying it.
Now he's got it's his. From day one, he's supposed to be the guy. That'll make a difference if he's got any talent. I got him at 6, so I'm going under.
Yeah, I don't think they're very good. All right, final one, and this is another team we laugh at a lot during the season. The Minnesota Vikings. They sit at 8.5. I think it's a little low. I mean, I think they're a 9-8 type, right? What do you think about them?
Yeah, I do too. I think it's very low. Their schedule's tougher because they drew that first place again. So their non-conference games at Philly, at Cincinnati, and they got the Niners. That's tough. That is tough. 2 games on the road, 1 at home. They got the Chiefs. They got a tough schedule. So I think they went 13 last year. I think. Yes, I think they were 13-4.
Yep.
I don't think they're winning that, but 9.5 is doable. So I've got them at 10. I'm going over. Or is it 8.5? Yeah, I'm going over. I got them at 10.
Yeah, I went over as well. I think you might sweat that one out to the last couple of weeks, but I do think they get there. Even if
I
it's
think they win the division.
If it was 9.5, I would pause, but I think 8.5. Go for it. All right, let's go to the the NFC South now. Let's go. This one's terrible. This was a brutal conference. I don't see it. I think it might be worse, honestly.
I do too.
Let's start though. The Atlanta Falcons, who will start with 8.5. What? What? They went 7-10. I don't think they're a damn bit better this year.
No.
What do you think of the Falcons?
No, we can do this one pretty quick. This division, the winner didn't have a winning record last year. So,
Exactly.
And the winner is worse this year. So, Atlanta, I got them at 7, and I'm generous, so I'm going under.
Yeah, I would go under. Carolina Panthers, let's go to them next. I don't know. I mean, they might be better this season. That over-under sitting there at 7.5. If you think they're better, go over because they were 7-10 a season ago. What do you think about the Panthers?
Well, they drafted the quarterback from Alabama.
Yeah.
Is he going to come through? If not, I think they have, I can't remember who the other one is.
Andy Dalton is who they picked up.
Yeah, well, that's as a backup, that's what he is.
Yeah.
And look for him to play some. They're the one that could come through, but I don't see it. I got him at 7, so I'm going under.
I'll take a small flyer. I think they're going to win the division. Okay.
Well, that wouldn't take much.
Don't think I'm nuts, but here's why. They're defensively, they're pretty good.
They are.
They added Adam Thielen. I kind of like him. They added DJ Clark. They added Hayden Hurst. Like they added some pieces that they're not like jump off the screen at you, but I think they're solid pieces.
Yeah.
If they get any kind of quarterback play for whether it be Bryce Young or Andy Dalton, I think they can do it. I think they can win this horrible division. I'm going to go over. I'll probably regret it, but I'm going to go over. New Orleans Saints. Look, this was not a good team last year. They're 9.5, which I think is crazy this year. They do add Derek Carr.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, and Dry O says you trust the rookie. Well, I trust the rookie more than Derek Carr. And I trust the rookie over whoever Atlanta's going to end up throwing out there. Is it going to be, I don't even know, Heineke? And I also trust a rookie over another rookie like or Baker Mayfield. So, yeah. Go ahead, though. Saints, what do you think? I don't think listen, I'm going to go under. Dan thinks they're going to win the division. I don't.
They're going to win the division, but I don't think they're going to go over 9.5.
Well, and that's fair. 9-8 probably wins this division.
Yeah, and I like them better than anybody else because they seem to be more stable because Tampa's not stable right now. No. So I think 8 and 9 might win the division. So I'm going to go under, but I think they're going to win the division.
Yeah, I'm not going to be shocked if they win it, but I can't trust them.
No,
I don't think they're very
good. I miss them every week.
Well, that was the joke last year. Oh, great. Here comes the New Orleans game. We missed this for sure. Yeah.
Every week.
It was so tough. Both of us had a really good NFL season last year, but then you look up and it's like, I never get the Saints right. So, all right, let's move on. Last one, Tampa Bay Buccaneers over under 6.5. And this looks like a total shit show to me. I thought this team was absolutely awful. I mean, awful.
I did too.
I thought they were one of the worst teams to ever make the playoffs. They're worse this year, aren't they? I mean, they look awful on paper.
The thing is, Brady won whatever many games they won by himself.
Yeah,
he had nothing.
No,
and he couldn't move anymore. They couldn't protect him. If he willed them to whatever many they want, and now he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And Baker is just Baker, and he's in the worst situation there is. I mean, so what's he done? Now he has to take over for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have players. Now he does have a couple of good receivers, probably the best receivers he's ever had. He does have that. Yeah. The running game is average. Defensively, they're okay. Does he have anything left? I don't.
Is he going to even be the quarterback?
He's the starter.
Have they named him the starter officially?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
By default, more than anything else.
Yeah.
What's it? 6.5.
They might go over.
They might. I'm going to take them to go over. They do know how to win. It's just, and they're going to like him. The teammates always like Baker.
Yeah.
if they've got anything left and they're in a terrible division, they got a chance to go over. So I think 6.5 is a little bit sketchy, but it could go south in a hurry and they could win 4. It's just a disaster waiting to happen, I'm afraid.
I think with their division, you could take them over 6.5.
Yeah,
but that's the only reason.
That's the only reason. Yeah.
All right, last one, and we'll start we'll start with the worst team in football, the NFC. I
agree.
I hate this team. The Arizona Cardinals is where we'll start here. The Cardinals were, oh my gosh, 4.5. So they hate them too. This is a disaster.
I think it's a total disaster. They're in a very tough league. They drew the AFC North. That's Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and the Browns. They drew the NFC East, Dallas, Philly. I mean, those are all tough teams.
Yeah.
Now there are other 3 teams maybe where they get some wins. They have Atlanta at home. Got to go to Houston. They got to go to Chicago. They better win those 3. That's all I'm saying. And they're in the NFC West with the Niners and the Seahawks and the Rams.
Yeah.
So 4.5. I was very generous and gave them 5. I'm going under. I was just been trying to find some win on there.
Now,
so I'm going under.
There's one thing that could save this. Was Cliff Kingsbury just really horrible, right?
That's true.
And maybe they're just better by default, but I don't see it. They're horrible. I'm going under. I hate them. I hate watching them. There's no team I hated watching worse than the Cardinals since Murray got drafted, because I was watching. I'm an OU fan. I watched Kyler Murray. It was horrific to watch this team. Horrific. All right, let's move on. Los Angeles Rams next on the list. Can they bounce back? They, of course, won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Last year, awful. I mean, they were so bad they turned to Baker Mayfield, and he was the highlight of their season for that one game. It was the highlight of their season. They came back and won. That's how bad it was. I don't know, 6.5. I think they'll bounce back and go over that 6.5.
They still got, if Stafford can still play,
yeah,
and Kupp is still there, and what's his name, Aaron Darnold's still there. They have a scattering of players that are pretty good.
Seems like they should be able to win 7.
They're well coached. McVay does a good job.
Yeah,
I got them at 8, so I'm going over.
All right, yeah, I went over. I'm not high on them, but I did go over. Okay, let's look at this. Dryo agrees. He says lock over 6.5.
I think so.
Kingsbury is my least favorite head coach.
He should never have been an NFL head coach.
No, and
maybe not at a college head coach, for that matter.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was awful at Texas Tech. They were terrible. So I don't.
He couldn't win with Patrick Mahomes.
He literally had a losing season with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never seen a worse coach. All right. I've never seen a worse NFL coach. Well, that's not true. I've seen some bad ones. Let's go to San Francisco next. Look, if they had a quarterback, they may have been in the Super Bowl last year. What happened with them quarterback-wise was just crazy. I don't know that they have one yet or still, or however you want to phrase that. Over under 10.5 for the Niners. What do you think?
This is one you better watch it, because we got a smattering of games from Brock Purdy. And he won them all, and he was impressive. I guarantee, you got to give it to him. And he beat some good teams. But if he fizzles, which he very well could, what have they got behind him? That guy that they've been trying to, what's his name? Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
And they got, the name escapes me. They got a veteran in there too.
They brought in Brandon Allen, and they brought in Sam Darnold. A big deal.
Sam Darnold. Yeah, there you go. So Brock Purdy better be the guy. He better be the guy if they're going to reach 10.5.
Okay, let's talk about Brock Purdy.
But we don't watch
any during the season last year. We would come on, and every week we would go, I have no idea how this is happening. None. We watched Brock Purdy almost every game in college at Iowa State. And for Iowa State standards, great quarterback, without any doubt. He was very good. He also was awful. He just wasn't very good. He really wasn't. He had
No.
awful turnovers. He just wasn't very good. Then you look up and it's like, yeah, he's every week. It's like, God, they won again, and he made plays. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if he can keep it up. That's my skepticism with this team.
Yeah. Well, let's look at these games he beat, the teams he beat. I don't know when he took over because the Niners won like 10 in a row through that time.
Mm-hmm.
But he won 2 playoff games.
I know.
He beat Seattle and he beat Dallas.
I watched him. I think I can't remember if it was Seattle or Dallas game. I watched him. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I can't.
Yeah, against Seattle, they scored 41 points.
Yes. Yeah.
They scored. Now, some of these, like January 8th, they beat Arizona. Okay, that's not really a big deal. They scored 38 points.
I know.
They beat Vegas at Vegas. They scored 37 points.
I know.
They beat Washington. They scored 37 points.
And before you comment and say, well, look at all the talent around him. No doubt. They had a lot of talent.
They do, and they still do.
But the quarterback still has to make some plays. Right. And he did.
He did. And so, you know, that's another really good franchise.
It is.
And they got rid of Garoppolo.
Yep.
Who they knew could win some games. So they got to believe in him. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's no dummy. And for them not to go out and get another quarterback, they must think this guy's got it. I don't know. He is a great leader. Could he have been so damn good that he willed Iowa State to win and get this good?
No. Don't start that. You watched him. He was awful.
I know.
Don't start that out. Do not get that started.
I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I do. I believe in his vision and his talent and know-how. I just think he knows. So I've got him at 12, and I may regret it, but I saw what happened last year. They're pretty dang good. They know how to win. I would go over, but I don't think I would bet it because it's just too risky.
I'm with Dry O again here. I just can't.
I know. I can't lock it. No,
I can't do it. Yeah, Rob, you mentioned, and I meant to bring that up, and I forgot about it. He's the last place schedule for a team like the Rams. Like you said, they got talent.
Yeah,
they got a good coach. That goes a long ways in helping.
So, yeah. And those 3 teams are Indianapolis, Green Bay, and New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, final one.
Yep.
This was a very big surprise. People thought they would be bad. They weren't. The Seattle Seahawks. Now they did fade, but they played well. Geno Smith was really good all season. Just their defense was horrible. They've done a lot to fix the defense in the off season. What do you think about Seattle here? Over under sat at 8.5. What do you think?
Several people are picking them to get to the championship game in the NFC.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that good because I can't do that with Geno Smith, even though he was phenomenal last year. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. They're well coached. It's hard to go to Seattle and win.
Yeah.
They always have a chance to beat you up there. That's a tough trip and a tough place to win.
Loud. Yep.
I think Pete Carroll is a good coach. A lot of people think he's a clown. I don't think so. This guy won 9 games or whatever it was last year, and everybody thought they were going to win 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're tough. You can't count them out. I got them at 10, so I'm going over.
Yeah, I'm not high on them, and I'm not low on them. I'm kind of right in the middle. I don't think they're some kind of championship team. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll see. I think. Gosh, this is tough. I guess I'll go over. I've got him at 9. I got a 9 and 8. So yeah, Dryo hates.
Depends on if Geno can play as well as he did last year.
And that's going to be a big question mark. But the one thing that I am kind of confident are they're going to get more stops this year.
Yeah.
They didn't get a lot of stops. So if Geno regresses, but the defense gets a little better, maybe they're right back up there at that 9.
They're just hard to beat, and you're always there.
Yeah.
That's what you can say about them.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see. I'm kind of with you. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Pete Carroll. I think he's pretty good. So
I think he does a hell of a job.
I think he's pretty decent. Yeah, I know people are kind of down on him, but
it's weird.
That's coaching in general. They get down on you, and that's what happens. So, all right. That's it.
That is it.
Who do you think? Who's your NFC and AFC? Like, who's going to be in the Super Bowl? If I asked you right now.
Well, one's on lock, the
Yep.
Chiefs. I can't even begin to go anywhere else.
Nope.
The NFC is a total crapshoot. It really is.
Yeah.
The only thing about picking the Chiefs is they do have to run the gauntlet through some very, very good teams. I just can't pick. You go Chiefs and Eagles again. How many times does that happen? Not
Yeah, I
very
don't think it's going to
often.
happen.
So I can't take the Eagles. But who else is any good in the NFC?
I think San Francisco, if the
That would be the only one.
Yeah.
The others have so many flaws.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I guess, could make a run but I can't see it.
Yeah.
You can't pick the Cowboys. They're too schizo.
Yeah.
Minnesota, good regular season team, doesn't do real well in the playoffs. Seem to not play well when they get there. That NFC, I guess I'd have to go with the Eagles, but Kansas City and Philadelphia in a repeat, that does not happen very often.
No, it doesn't. So
but I can't pick against the Chiefs.
It's hard to pick against them. But I think Cincinnati is a team that's proven that they can beat them.
Yes, they can.
Honestly, Buffalo feels like a team that they're never going to beat them. Cincinnati with Burrow, they kind of got that moxie, right? That you're going to have to beat them.
And you never know. Same Mahomes gets hurt to where he can't play 2 or 3 games,
right?
And then let's say the Chiefs somehow don't get the home field advantage, and then anything can happen. It's something like that. But I just don't know how you can bet against the Chiefs. I just don't. This guy is a once in a lifetime quarterback. He's phenomenal.
I agree.
And I'm not a Chiefs fan at all.
Yeah, I'm not either. But
they're never out of a game. I don't care what. They're never out of a game. I mean, if you're playing them and you think you got them, you're going to get your ass beat because you don't have them with him on the other side. He'll figure out some way. I've seen it too many times. So
I thought they were in big trouble in the Super Bowl, and he just never missed a pass in the second half. And
no. And Buffalo or Philly kept scoring and finally didn't, and that was it.
Absolutely.
He's a great player and seems to be. This is really. I don't like the Chiefs. I never have. I think he's cocky, but he deserves it. He seems to be a great guy. He does.
Yeah.
I never hear anything derogatory about Mahomes.
No, I don't either. Yeah. Yeah, he does have that Jordan-esque type talent.
There's no doubt.
It's crazy. And like we have great quarterbacks in the league right now. I really believe that. And
they're all in the AFC.
And he's better than them. Like, I love Joe Burrow. Love him. I think he's fantastic. I don't think he's close to Mahomes.
No.
And
Josh Allen's very good. He's not close to Mahomes.
I think Josh Allen is a freak. Josh Allen is a freak, but I don't think he's as good as Mahomes. Yeah.
No. And he is a role model, seems to be.
Yeah.
He's a part of the Kansas City community.
Yep.
He doesn't need the bright lights of LA or New York. He's perfectly happy there. He's invested himself into the community. What else do you want?
I know.
He's everything you want. Jordan was unbelievable, but not necessarily a great guy,
Right.
I mean,
he was a man's man, but not a.
And he didn't break the law or do.
No, he was a role model in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wanted to live his life and have fun and gamble and do stuff like that, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah.
He wasn't necessarily a squeaky clean guy.
No.
But as far as showing up and playing every game and doing what he was supposed to do on the basketball floor, yes. He gave the fans their money's worth every time he showed up. And he knew he was supposed to do that. And that's what makes him and LeBron and Kobe and those guys what they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't dog it.
Well, they understand that they are who they are, right?
They take that's their responsibility, and they do that. And Mahomes is one of those guys. Who was Dryo hit the nail on the head, man. I never thought of that, but he's right. He's turning into Michael Jordan. He really is.
No doubt.
Yep.
Well, we'll see. I'm glad it's back. I really am. We get to Travers weekend, and it's always my favorite weekend of the year for racing. But right after it ends, you realize, okay, it's college football, the real first week of college football. It's on the clock now, right?
Yeah.
And then that NFL's coming that next week, and it's always the best time of year. Those first 4 or 5 weeks, so much excitement, and it's exciting. And we'll be right here for all of it, like always.
We got a sprinkling of games Saturday. There's nothing big.
Unfortunately,
I think Notre Dame Navy is probably the highlight of the.
Yeah, when that's your highlight, it's not great. That's
right.
For sure.
So, and that's is that in London?
I think, it's in Dublin. Dublin.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you got Notre Dame Navy, UTEP, Jacksonville State, UMass, New Mexico State, Ohio versus San Diego State, Hawaii and Vanderbilt, San Jose State and USC, and then Florida International and Louisiana Tech. So not a great start.
I'll probably watch Notre Dame and Navy, and of course you'll have to catch a little bit of the USC probably.
Right. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it. You got anything else? Or are we ready to go? I
do not. You got another show to do. Then you got to get ready to get on an airplane, and
that's right.
I guess you're flying, and you're obviously flying to Saratoga.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
got that. So we'll do blinkers off. The last I heard, it's going to be like because I got to get out here and look at the card. It's probably like a 9 p.m. Central start time. I think, like I said, we'll do the Travers obviously, and then we'll do the undercard as well. So give you a little more in-depth coverage of that. So, all right, we're getting out here. If you're going to be at Travers, let us know. If you want to listen to a full show on all the Travers Stakes card, it's coming up. It's coming up here in a couple hours. So, all right, guys, we're going to get off here now. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next week with a full slate of college football action.
This is Due to Bet Sports. Due to Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Due to Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Due to Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.